What's going on, y'all? Benny coming back at you again, one vape at a time, and this video is brought to you by Timo's Pizza. Not really, but that's how my bills get paid, so I guess they're kind of all brought to you by Timo's Pizza, aren't they? Today we are checking out the Ion from OnCloud Vapor. It's pretty shiny, I don't know if you can see that. This little guy here, little pod system, you might have seen him online. Looks like an egg. They sort of came out around the time that Game of Thrones final season was wrapping up, so they're sort of dragon egg themed. So let's check it out. I mean, of course, you open it up, naturally, there's where your device would have been. I took it out because I've been checking this thing out for a couple days, you know, doing my due diligence, as they would say. Looks like, oh, comes with a little lanyard. I'll show that to the wife. She'll wear it around her neck all day, every day. Comes with one pod installed, comes with one spare pod that's inside there. We'll get to the specs on that in a minute. And then your standard micro USB charging cable. Looks like it's a nice short one, which is kind of handy having some of them little bitty ones around some of the time. I find with some of my little portable charging boxes I take to work and stuff with me, sometimes it's nice to not have a big 3 or even 6 foot cable going with it. So yeah, this is the device itself. You know, like I say, it's kind of dragon egg themed. This is different. I don't know if I would say good or bad. We'll get to that in the end when we go over everything. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but you give it a little squeeze and it sort of pops open. And these sides peel off here. See, they come off. And this is what you're left with inside. This guy right here. Got your little pod. It's just a little magnetic guy. It does have some pretty good strong magnets. You've got your indicator light there on the front. We'll look at the specs real quick on it and we'll go over that kind of stuff. Get into the technicalities of the technicals and all that kind of stuff, right? Let's see. I wrote this all down before I started the video, but sitting in the other room, so it's not doing me much good, is it? Let's see. Looks like it's a 2 milliliter pod. It does have the 10 watt constant temperature output, so regardless of your charge, you're going to get 10 watts all the time. The pods are a 1.6 ohm and it's a 430 milliamp hour battery, so not a great big one, but pretty good if you use it like me, just a little bit here and there through the day. Nice little mouth on device. Okay, this little indicator light, let's see if you can see it there. It's not vaping. I think it's only made to vape whenever it's put together, really. So let's pop this bad boy back together. It is kind of handy. It took me a minute to figure out how to get it apart that first time, but now I kind of like the design on that. It does only go together one way, so if you get your front and back mixed up, it's not going to work for you. So it does have the indicator light on the front. Blue, which means you're good to go, is, I guess you're getting somewhere between 9 and 11 watt output. No, hang on. Okay, so I just found something out, guys. Apparently, you can change the wattage on it. Apparently, I've been vaping it in the blue mode, which is the low output mode. Let's see, if you click the button 3 times, let it cycle through the different wattages. Let's see here. Let's see, blue and red, so that means it's going to do somewhere between the 9 and 11. And I forget, but it doesn't vape. Red is your higher power setting. I don't know if you can tell, but that's red. You can see my fingers glowing. It also has a blue, which I guess is about, this is going to be a 10 watt output. It's got the blue, which is a 7, and then it's got the kind of a combination of blue and red, which basically will vary based on the amount of power your battery's got left in it. So let's get past all this technical BS and have a vape. It does also have the battery indicator light. I'm going to assume it goes blue to, or that's not blue, green is full charge, then it goes blue, then red as you start getting low. So I've got it all charged up right now. Actually, it looked like it turned blue in the middle of that one. Let's see here. See that there? Kind of covert, not real bright if you're trying to stealth vape, but it's pretty easy to hide. Alright, I've got it filled up. I'm not doing the salts anymore. I've got it filled up with some 50/50 Earth's Bounty 12 milligram, which I'm kind of digging. That's something new I picked up the other day. Alright, let's get past it. We'll do cons. Obvious cons. One thing about it, this little case that it's got on it, you know, the eggshell, we'll call it, right? Doesn't seem to vape without that on there, because that's holding it on to the magnets. That's what's making its contact to allow it to fire. But unfortunately, it's got this seam all the way around it, so you don't get the greatest seal on it. So there's been plenty of times I've picked this thing up, and of course it's not going to do it now, but there's been plenty of times I've picked it up and not actually gotten anything off of it because I'm sucking more air from the outside than the pod itself. Maybe, I don't know if you can tell, but that mouthpiece just barely protrudes, like maybe a half a millimeter. Maybe they could have made that stick out just the tiniest little bit so you get your lips on it. Just a thought, you know. It's got a nice draw. It is a true mouth-to-lung flavors. Flavor's alright. I mean, it's a pod, so for a pod, I'd probably call it a 7 or an 8. That's the big con on it, you know. But let's go to the pros. I mean, they include all that good stuff with it. One thing I will say is they included a second pod, you know, so you get the one that's installed in an extra. I love my pod systems, but a lot of them these days, you get the one pod, and then you're done with it. Sometimes one pod's not enough to decide if you even really like a device and want to buy more. Another obvious pro, look at it. I mean, this little thing's pretty cool. I mean, it's sort of your standard handheld, you know, pod system. I don't have great big hands, but, you know, it's just about the exact size of the palm of my hand. It's pretty perfect. I'm trying to think here for size comparison. Everybody's got a 30 ml bottle laying around. Here's your 30 ml bottle. Here's this little guy, you know. The bottle's actually going to be a little bit taller, the device a little wider. Like I say, flavor, we'll call it a 7 or an 8. Battery life seems to be good. I've been running it unknowingly in the lower power mode, so obviously that's been making my battery last a little bit longer. So, I mean, like I say, it's definitely a decent little device. It has some things that could be changed on it, but I've seen these online and seen them on some of the dot mod posts. I don't know if they perhaps have something to do with it. I'm not going to lie, I'm not familiar with OnCloud Vapor, which is the manufacturer of this one, so it might be their first product, might not. If you know, let me know down in the comments. But definitely a decent little pod system. Got those two cons. Like I say, you know, give me a little bit of a mouthpiece to get my lips around, and we'd be good to go. But, you know, I'm just going to start trying to get more of these videos up for you guys, and we'll see where it goes from there. If you want to pick one of these up, like I say, head on over to Instagram. I know that you can find them on the OnCloud Vapor Instagram. The link and everything's over there if you want to check them out. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think to look. Haven't the slightest idea what they're going for. They might be 20 bucks, they might be 50, they might be 5 if you're real lucky. If you can find one for 5 bucks, get one. Get 2 and send me a second one, because eventually I will probably break this thing. I break all my pods, that's why I have a ton of them. But it's worth, you know, it's definitely a good little device. It's worth checking out, and like I say, there's just something satisfying. It feels good in the hands. It's perfect little size, and like I say, I found a little lanyard in the package, so have to throw that on there. I'm sure, like I said, the wife will love that. I'm trying to get more of these videos up for you guys. I don't know exactly how you feel about my style of doing them, but I don't have time for editing. As you can tell from the shirt, I'm getting ready to go to work. So this is the, hopefully that's the right way, OnCloud Vapor Ion. Check them out, guys. It's definitely worth it. Thanks for checking in with me. Glad to have you all here. If you're not vaping on an Ion, it doesn't really matter what you're vaping on as long as you're vaping. Whatever you do, keep doing it. One vape at a time. Thanks, guys.